We are here. This is Star Wars Geek Girls. We are not. I am not Zoe, and
And I am not Lizzy.
right, but we are here doing the Father's Day special, which I think we did one before, or maybe two.
I know we've done at least one, but it
Yeah,
blurs. Apparently, it's been a while.
it has been a while. I like. I feel like we were out in California, which was what 2018,
Yeah.
17, and then I blinked, and it's
hmm
2023.
Yeah.
So, and I see Axel, and I'm like, wait a minute, that's the child that was trying to tell Missy he was like 8 or he was lying about his age at Orlando, saying he was.
Yeah. Yeah. Trying to get in for free somewhere.
I know he was just messing. I think he was just messing with Missy. Um, but and now he's like a giant. So,
hmm
but
That's
yeah,
it.
so this is our Father's Day special that we'll put up for the girls, and I just thought it'd be neat to just talk about like being a father in Star Wars, but being a father with Lizzie and Zoe for the last. It's been 8. It will be 8 years this September that they started,
hmm
which is, and they still like what they do. I hope. I mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, they're still, following up on everything. Like obviously there's no more rebels, but they're still, watching the shows or the Mando or, I don't know about Zoe, but I know, I guess Lizzie she doesn't have a PS5, so she's not keeping up on the games or whatever's out. Like right now, Jedi Survivor's out, so that's all we're talking about.
yeah. Well, Zoe, Zoe went and she upgraded her. She bought an Xbox when she was out in California,
hmm
and then when she came home, she was like, "Well, this Xbox won't play," so she upgraded it because she's been working like she's been substitute teaching, and then she
hmm
got a couple jobs with production houses around here, which are few and far between, just
Right.
just to make money. And so she's, I think she thought I was going to say something to her about spending her money, but I'm trying to be a parent to an adult child, and as as long
hmm
as her spending her money doesn't make me have to spend extra money. So, but yeah, she's been keeping up with the game. Um, The only problem is her gaming console is set up in the center of our house. So if you're not in the when I come home from work from 100 kids yelling at me all day, sometimes hearing Fortnite or Jedi Survivor when I walk in the door isn't the most
hmm
welcoming sound. But
hmm hmm
um, and she got me playing Fortnite too. So
Oh yeah, yeah. We were well, actually I haven't played with Zoe, but like a couple of us had gotten on every now and then. We unlocked the mall skin or whatever was the last thing, thanks to Lizzie. We did like half of the things, and we were like, Lizzie, we need a victory royale, and then Lizzie came in clutch.
yeah, that's what Zoe did for me. Like I had played, and then and then she had got me some skins, and so like I
hmm
have tons of skins. I just play Boba. I like Book of Boba Fett, so
Yeah,
that's my favorite one.
yeah. There's some good ones.
So so we'll start our Father's Day, and maybe this is the sad way to start it, but I was thinking this week about how much I miss trooping with my kids. And I don't know if that's the same for you, but like I like trooping, like I troop as a stormtrooper.
hmm
But we wound up doing a panel. I got a panel, my first panel ever for some place in Philly. I don't know
hmm
why. I just put in for it because I thought Zoe would be out at your end of the country, and I got the
hmm
panel. And then we went, and I just reminded me of how much I miss trooping with the kids.
Yeah, yeah. We have been. I've been working a lot, so I'm not able to make because we troop primarily with Saber Guild mostly.
Right.
So it's all practices and shows and things like that. And what I just go right over to because I'm a Rebel Legion too. I should run over to Rebel Legion and just sign up for a troop for whatever Saturday or Sunday I'm off
Right.
when I get the chance. Because usually events are on Saturdays. I'm always working, and I'm not able to not make practices to be eligible to go and be in the shows because not
Right.
able to make rehearsals and stuff like that. But I still have my costumes, and I still I should just
And you are the Jedi of Lucasfilm now.
I am a Jedi of Lucasfilm.
I know. But you were taught Wheel of Fortune, man. That was you know.
Yeah, that was cool. I got to show Vanna and Pat and show them a couple little lightsaber moves, super fast. But it was fun. It was nice,
It,
and it was like the usual thing. They were like, "Hey, you come and do this thing." Absolutely, I can. Yes, sir.
But
will make
yeah,
it work.
like I was looking at pictures of the kids, and you're in the same boat as me. Like my kids were doing it when they were young. They started as Jawas. You started with little Axel, and
Hmm.
as a was he? Did he start as Ezra? Or did he? No, he started as
They both had little Jedi
okay.
because they would just come out to do Saber Guild stuff with us. So they just had like little Padawan Jedi kids, clip on braids and stuff like that. Um, and then basically once Rebels hit, we were the Rebels.
Yeah,
And then I think Axel also did like little Boba Fett, and Lizzy did like, I think she did like the bridge crew, like the undercover Ty Sabine, but she
right,
just like
right.
did it as Sabine instead or whatever. But Lizzy also has like a femme trooper,
Oh,
like
right.
the
Yes.
the legacy troopers, but the shadow style.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then yeah.
All my students know your Star Wars story and Zoe's Star Wars story. I play that for my students because, like, first day we're supposed to make connections with our students. So
Hmm.
I've seen that video of Lizzy explaining to Jordan about uh, fighting lightsabers and stuff. I've seen that. I see that 6 times a marking period every mark 4 times a year. So
Nice.
uh,
Nice. Yeah, yeah. And the kids had fun. We would always go to practices and do our little thing. And like uh Lizzy was really good with like the forms. And when Axel was younger, he could learn the like fights really well. Just funny to have like little tiny Axel come out with Ezra. So he did a couple of shows as Ezra. And sometimes when he was really like, there were times where we would have like shows where we would face off against the Empire and beat back the Inquisitors or Darth Vader. And at the end of the show, there would be like a little stormtrooper helmet left on the stage. And then Axel would come out in the Ezra costume and be like, "This helmet is now the property of Ezra Bridger," and like put it on and walk off. And that was like the show,
nice.
just like a random cute little thing. Uh, you know. So it was like the kids were really involved. And like I said, like it's because of that we haven't had time. But Axel's been working on his armor lately. He's got some Boba armor
Oh,
that
nice.
you guys sent over,
Oh,
and he
yeah,
did
yeah.
like a Cobb Vanth, and then he sort of repainted it to his own thing, and now he's like, no, I want to do Cobb Vanth again. So now, but he's working with another buddy of mine down here who's got like a shop.
Hmm.
They're showing him like how to do things right, how to sand right, how to
Yes.
paint, how to polish, how to get that metallic. He's using like they're teaching him good how to use the like airbrushes to
Oh,
paint and
that's
stuff like that. So he's having fun, and now he's like I'll come home, he'll be like, look, I sanded this out, like you can't even see the light. Look, touch it, it's like totally like smooth, and he's getting his stuff like really, really well done, which is good because he's learning to do it like the right way. Because I'm
yeah.
not,
That's the nice thing. I mean, 3D printing's nice, but it is nice now that people are finishing stuff right. Like
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
whatever anyone wants to wear is fine with me. But I've
hmm,
seen some people be very liberal with their print lines on
yeah.
some of the,
But like when he's gonna put that on and he's gonna walk out and he's gonna look and he's gonna be proud
yeah,
of like what he's wearing, as opposed to when we just give him their armor and they're like, all right, cool, okay, I'm gonna throw it in the bin now.
yep,
Like he painted some stuff and then he put it in his bag and he came home, and then the next day he was like, Dad, like what am I supposed to do? Like it's because he's doing all smooth, fine, shiny finishes, and I don't do that.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I'm like, no, 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 listen to him. I weather stuff. I
yeah,
can't do what they do. And he's
yeah.
like,
I
look,
weather my mistakes is what I
yeah,
do.
I put it in the bag and now it like scratched the silver off of this part. And I'm like, so here's what you do. Go through your closet, clean your clothes, and get rid of all the t-shirts that don't fit you anymore. Take those t-shirts and wrap up your armor pieces in them and put them away in your bag. That way they don't scratch up against each other when you travel. Like,
Yep.
and he's like, oh. And I'm like, remember, like when Kevin brings his clone armor, it's just the clone armor. But remember when he packs his shiny stormtroopers or episode sevens, you notice he has them all wrapped up in like little, cloth or t-shirts or
Yeah.
whatever, because it's like a different thing. And he's like, oh, because he's only had armor like me that it's meant to be weathered. We
Right. Right.
weather our rebel, the only armor we really have is rebels, and he had little Boba,
Yeah.
you know. But it's good that he's like learning and he's starting to take pride in his work. He's like, look at that, there's no line there at all. Like so I'm waiting to see how he starts doing with the paint job now that he's like really good at prepping.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I'm glad. Like I said it in my panel last week that I'm glad that we've done stuff with our kids that like went throughout the years. Like I have so many friends who they talk about where they lost connection with their kids for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't feel like I did that. You know, like I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there was a couple months there that they get a little cantankerous, you know, but you know, um, you know,
Yeah.
with our girls, like I mean, with Zoe and just seeing them grow up, and Zoe plans everything. You know, she's a Star Wars has become even more part of her life than even my life.
Mm-hmm. See, I think like I'm probably the one who, because I do the books and the comics and the this and the that, and but so Axel will be like, you know, I'm good. Oh, I'm not gonna watch that. But like he'll come and watch, and like Axel really liked Andor, so
Yeah,
like he was all into Andor and he was rewatching, and he wants to do a Brasso. So like, you know, he'll find like the things that he likes and latch onto it.
yeah,
You know,
that's how Safi is.
I think he's like not. I wonder. He's like not super crazy about Ahsoka yet, so I'm hoping like, you know, because like he's a little, like we're all a little trepidatious about the Return of the Rebels, just because we're so connected to the
Yeah,
iteration that we are very like that show is so connective to our family that it's going to be like an adjustment for us to get used to these new people. You
yeah.
know.
It took Zoe almost a year to
Hmm.
even like the live action Ahsoka
Hmm.
because she grew up with, you know, Ahsoka was her
Right, right.
inspiring character.
And I still like for the Ahsoka thing because people are like, well, it's like this, it's great, or it's horrible. I'm like, it looks fine, but like, because people are like, well, she doesn't, you know, whatever these complaints or whatever that people have. I'm like, she hasn't done any. Like, she showed up and said like 3 lines.
Yeah,
Like, so don't like you can't say she's a horrible actress, like,
right.
or whatever. Or you can't say that this is that or that is this. Like, when she has her own show, you'll see like whatever the story it is or whatever they have planned for her, because anything we've seen so far is just her being like, "Hey, Mando, what's up? Hey, here's a baby.
Right,
Here's," or
right,
you know,
right.
like that's it's not really been a whole lot.
Well, and the Sabine, that the only thing I'm dreading is that flight suit.
Yeah, yeah, that's gonna be more than we're used to.
Yeah, because before we
Yeah,
could just fudge it, you know, it's
yeah,
drawn, you know, but but so because I'm like, how similar is that flight suit
to both.
to Bo-Katan, you know?
Yeah,
Because I'm just might just have to buy because around here, I don't know how to sew, and the people that do know how to sew, like kill. I can't afford the sewing around
hmm
here,
hmm.
you know.
You're gonna have to start doing some exchanges. You're gonna have to start being like, "Look, I will make you guys 4 helmets for
Yeah,
one flight suit or something." You know,
I know. Well,
yeah, you're gonna
I'm
have to
gonna
start
like
bartering those abilities.
the nice thing is though the new Ahsoka has Skechers.
Okay, the shoes.
Yeah, because do you know Judah? He does paint work
Yeah,
with
I do actually.
yeah, and
Well, I
some
know of him. I've never met him.
yeah some we met him at Anaheim, and so
Okay.
we've become friends, and then we got to actually hang out with him in London.
Hmm.
He invited us to a party, you know. Me and Zoe were both half asleep. We're like, we're going. But he's I've been just like, hey, does this color look right? Like, because I've been working on this chest armor, and he's like,
Yeah,
you know, but they unfortunately they didn't use any pre. I was hoping they use like Montana, you know, spray.
yeah,
You're like, no, we hand mixed it all. I'm like, oh, great.
nice.
So, so
To be fair, that's Sabina's health.
yeah, yeah. But I'm just glad Zoe's looking forward to it, and I'm glad. Like, I think her and Lizzy, um, as podcasts go, figuring they did a podcast from probably the worst time in your life to do the years that you're the most busy
Hmm.
in terms of growing and everything else. They did a podcast from what 13 till now,
Yeah,
and they stuck with it. You
yeah,
know,
yeah.
I mean, Zoe's the queen of scheduling, so
Yeah.
she's pretty good at that. But
I
and
was gonna
Lizzy, you know,
say,
Lizzy has had that tough college. I mean, she's coming down to the
mhm.
end.
Yeah,
That's a tough 3 years. That's a
yeah. But I mean, even look at the not even kids, look at the adults who started when they started podcasting who aren't doing anything. You know what I mean? Like
right,
just
right,
the longevity of anyone to
right,
do it as long as they have, much less kids that are now adults.
right. and to stay positive about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Mm-hmm.
I've seen, and maybe it's just recently, but I've a lot of the podcast I normally listen to, I had to take a pause on because
Mm-hmm.
I think because there was nothing to do, they thought, well, let's just gripe about things. Well, and then you're
It's
all
yeah.
over the place.
You've noticed there's a pattern for my podcast especially. So the Rogue Rebels podcast is our podcast. So we'll do the shows, and then we had this once before. The original season of The Mandalorian ran concurrently with like the end of Star Wars Resistance. So back then we were bouncing around and trying to figure it out, and we would do like one week we would do 2 episodes of The Mandalorian, and then the next week we would do 2 episodes of The Resistance. That week's and the one we missed, and then the next week we would go back to Mandalorian, cover those two. So we basically did that again because this is the first time since then that there have been 2 shows
Yeah.
for like the end of the Bad Batch and the beginning of the Mandalorian season 3. But then those breaks in between, when a lot of the other shows are like, well, there's nothing to do, I don't know what to do, there's nothing to do, is when I'm like, no, there were 4 books already that I have recorded, like, so now I
Yep.
can finally catch up on my phase 2 High Republic. I need King Tom, get over here, I need you to get with me, because King Tom's the only other person I know who reads all the comics.
Yeah.
And there's giant stuff happening, and then now we got a video game, so like, okay, like I finally had time to beat the game, so now I can talk Jedi Survivor. So like I try to fit all that in, because come August we're going to be back to Ahsoka, and there's going to be a weekly
Yeah.
thing
Yeah.
the audience is going to be looking for. And I really I like covering things that I feel like is a little more evergreen, like as opposed to news. Because a lot of podcasts will just do like news. They'll be like, such and
Right.
such said
Right.
something, and they're excited. There's a photo released about a show that's coming out.
Right.
It's like cool and it's great. And we're all excited for it. But like, it's something that you'll never go back to, probably.
Yeah. Right.
I'll never go back and be like, remember the Rogue One trailer? Let's go back to that. Like, I might go back and be like, man, I really like Rogue One. Let's go back and listen to the episodes where people broke down what they thought about it.
Yeah.
But like, which is what, that's kind of how I arrange my podcasts. I sort of pick a thing. Hey, this is what we're going to talk about this episode. And like, if you're ever like 10 years down the line, when you're like, man, the High Republic, what was that all about? You can go to my podcast, and there's going to be 20 episodes about the High Republic that you can like check out.
When I use your High Republic to cheat, because I've tried to keep up with the High Republic stuff, but I've been cheating because, especially this spring when Zoe was riding to work with me, I wasn't listening to podcasts because I was like, I hadn't seen her, and so my listening got eaten up. So I would cheat, like when she didn't substitute in a building I was at, I would listen to your podcast because I like the High Republic stuff, and I like the comic books. But during COVID, I went to my comic book store for my subscription. They pull your books, but they were closed some weird hours. So I showed up one week, and they're like, "Okay, that will be $300." So I took it, and I was like, I got to put a pause on some of these books, man. So, like I have all the hours, so I'm taking your advice where I just going to go back and get the graphic novels.
Yeah, I kind of go the other way because I want it immediately, even though like this is the thing where like Liz doesn't like that. She's like, what happens next? Because usually comics are very episodic.
Yes,
they like end, and like usually there's like an arc of a comic books will be like 5 issues, 6 issues, 4 issues, whatever. And so like you'll get those 4 issues and it'll make up a story. But like, if you get the first or second or third issue, it's always going to end on like, oh my God, what happens next? Tune in May 28th to see the next issue.
Well, and I found myself when I started reading the Star Wars comics, getting back into my comics days. Like I used to have a special pair of gloves and bags and everything. I had a whole room before the kids were born with just my comic books.
Yeah.
And I found myself going, and I'm not really into collecting like that anymore. I was like, I can't do that. I don't have the space,
Yeah, for me it's the story. So like I get the comics, I put the digital code or whatever, or if it's Dark Horse, I just read it. And then I like file it and I put it away. And once like you were talking about the paperbacks, once the series is all done, I sell off the series and I use that money to buy the paperbacks.
Yeah, I should probably do that with some of mine because I have pretty much triples of because I also, unfortunately for me, because I'm a comic book guy, I had to buy everything in triplicate.
Right. Oh.
So that was just.
And then I sell them all off as a set.
Yeah.
Because then I end up with nobody wants Darth Vader 17 or whatever, like whatever one, like, so I'll just be like, 2017 Darth Vader series 1 through 25, 300 but for whatever,
Yeah.
and then boom, it's gone. Boom, I can go buy the hardcover or the trade paperbacks or whatever, and then like that's kind of my move. And then also like so you'll see like like my comic stack will grow, and then once the series is done, I'll sort of like knock it all down, sell it off, and
Nice.
then I get like a couple of trades or whatever, and then I'm like fine again. But it's really the stories that like bring me back to comics and the art. I mean
Yeah.
the art stuff, but
Yeah. I like, again, I like the High Republic stuff, and I like all the comic books. It's just, I got to get myself back into that
yeah.
state. And I've done pretty well. Other than the new Sabine, I haven't added anything to my to-do list in probably 6 months, which is rare for me.
Admirable.
Yeah, that's very like I have stuff sitting there. I'm like, no, I can't
Mhm.
even, like now I've become a hoarder of 3D printing files.
Okay.
So like I find cool files and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to buy it and then save it until I have it. And I a friend of mine gave me a 500 millimeter printer, and I'm fighting the urge to start a chopper because it'll print a full chopper dome uncut.
Mhm.
So, but I'm like, I just got to hold off and get everything else done. Get this new Sabine done
Mhm.
and get her whatever season. There's still one season of Sabine half in paint, whatever the bright yellow one. Do you have that one?
That's 4, right? Season
Four.
4?
Yeah, that's the only one.
Yeah.
I just don't. I've never liked that cut. Like, no offense to
Yeah.
anyone who does it.
I didn't do that one. We did season 3 because in the beginning of that series, for the first like 2 or 3 episodes,
Yeah,
she has the other paint. She has the
and I
season
hate
3 paint job.
I hate this helmet. I hate those Mandalorian Arsenal helmets.
Mhm.
I just this. I hope Zoe never wants to wear those again.
Well, at least for now, you got an upgrade for like sort of split the difference. And I wanted to paint one as season 2,
Mm-hmm.
so like that'll cover any like season 1 or 2 episodes we do. She'll just do season 2 style, but like it's like if I wear my Kanan
Yeah,
and Axel wears Ezra, even though he's taller than all of us. You're like that season, like we always default to season 2, and like she can wear her Sabine season 2 and fit with all of us.
right. Okay.
And then like season 3, so it's like 2 and 3. Like
Yeah,
she can wear season 3, and then I can do blind Kanan, and Axel can do short hair Ezra, and she'll fit with us that way, and then epilogue, but
yeah.
that's a whole different thing.
My epilogue's a favorite one that I did for Zoe so far,
Hmm.
but she hasn't submitted that yet. Zoe's in the now. Is Lizzy in any of the costuming groups yet?
No, officially no,
Okay.
at all.
Now,
When
we
yeah,
can beat this out if anyone's listening, but there are certain people that don't need to be in the costuming groups, and I think our kids fall under that.
I mean, like they only do well, I don't know. I'm only speaking for Lizzie and Axel because like Axel wants to, because Axel wants to go to the party. Axel wants to go do the thing, so he's like making his Mando
Yeah,
or his Cobb Vanth now,
nice.
and he's like excited about that, and he wants to get back into Saber Guild because like I mean, I can always just bring him with me, but he's kind of like too big to bring him with me, and I can kind
Right,
of I'm pretty sure I can get him approved in an Ezra,
right.
but he wants to fight, and so I think we have a Sith costume.
Oh,
So I
okay.
think I might get him approved in a Sith costume, a generic Sith costume, and then I can fight with him.
Well,
Like, and that's
and
stuff that we can work on at home.
the Ahsoka could change Ezra too.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. There's a future Ezra in the works. I
Yeah,
mean, not for us, but like as soon as we see it,
yeah,
maybe he'll be like, oh, "That looks really cool," or you know what I mean. Like, who knows what that'll pull out of him. I'm kind of excited and interested to see. Kind of like if I ever saw Gayla Voss, I don't know. I might just make that costume. If anybody ever showed a picture of that Gayla Voss out
yeah.
there anywhere in the universe,
I wonder
anybody
if you should
listening to
just
this,
make one and just post it up enough that when he shows up in a comic, someone's like, as a reference photo, that's what shows up.
I talked to somebody and they were like, I've seen it before. I kind of like remember. And they were like, it was somebody that, one of our mutual friends that works
Yeah,
over at Lucasfilm. And like, well, I mean, I think I might be able to dig it up. And it's like, but I mean, even if I did, and like, even if you made the costume, nobody would know who you are. And I was like, uh-huh. And then they were like, but you would know, huh? Uh-huh.
I think they're pointing towards a Voss though.
You think so?
You could be the next Chris Bartlett. That they're using you for the Jedi thing. You could be the next.
I mean, I would not say no to Voss. I would do my best. I would do my, hey, Kenobi, you're looking worse for wear. How's Temple? I could look, give me a little bit of creatine, and I will get my guns up. We'll go full on out. I can get ripped, y'all. I got saber skills. I got backflipping skills. I will, you know, I will wear the costume with glee
Yeah.
and bring the moves to it. So if Lucasfilm just happens to be looking for a Voss, I'm always available. I'm a joy to work with. I hear.
Well, that's which leads me to like with like I forget what episode of the girls podcast. I just sometimes I go down memory lane and I listen to pieces of it, and I've been trying to figure out how to tap into making it like make small TikToks to push people towards their because when I moved their podcast to Anchor, which you have Anchor, I really like Anchor, but they lost a chunk of their audience from SoundCloud.
Okay.
Which I didn't realize that would happen. But Anchor was so much easier, and SoundCloud kept up. It was up to like $200 a year.
Yeah.
And,
but
anyway,
I mean,
huh?
I'm wondering how many people were like listening on the actual platform, because that has to be what it is.
That's what I'm saying. Like I thought, well, know how it is with podcasts. None of these companies want to tell you how many people are listening to you unless you want to pay, some kind of service. But listening to the girls and just seeing what they went through, like I listened to them and you can, I think that's when Zoe was like stressed her senior year. You know what I mean? Like you probably recognize it from your dad's point of view, and it's just neat to see that they had the time and all the struggles, like when we used that first time, we were using 2 computers with Skype with an open mic over the air to record. It's come a long way.
Right. Yeah.
And Zoe still won't use down here. She still just uses her laptop. Like I have like fancy mics and mixing boards, and she's like, I'll just use my laptop. So
they get comfortable.
Yeah. Well, and she's, I mean, I'm hoping that when she moves out to California, she still wants to do it. I mean,
right.
I think she was planning on being out there now, but the people she went out there with school there, like there's no work whatsoever,
Right. Until, things get situated over there. Yeah. It's, I do like listening back to episodes. Like I like having that time capsule available.
Yeah.
Because as stupid as it sounds, like that's what it is.
Yep.
So even if you don't, it's kind of like pictures, but like you can look back on, like for us, Axel was even younger. So I can go back to episodes and he will be like, man, when Kaz fell down the thing or what, because like a lot of our early episodes are from Star Wars Resistance, because we didn't start podcasting with Rebels. We started podcasting like before Resistance came on, right around then.
Right.
So like a lot of our early episodes are Star Wars Resistance. And so like those are the Axel Young years that you can hear him grow, by the time he gets to season 1 of Mando.
Yeah.
And then his voice starts changing, So that's a good
time.
Well,
and I feel like the core, I'm not in the same loop as Zoe's. Like I feel like with when I trooped when the girls were little, I was always just the guy who brought the Jawas. Like there were people that trooped with us for years. They didn't know me from anybody, but they knew the girls because there was no adults doing Jawas back then.
Right.
And with podcasting, I feel Zoe has a good group of friends and people she considers family now, between you guys and Jonah Marie and even Steele. Steele's like that crazy uncle that always comes through at the end and, come up. So, I mean, he did the 2 celebration panels. So I'm hoping the girls can do a celebration panel again. I don't know if you're planning on going to Tokyo.
But not yet, for sure. I don't know.
Unless I hit the lottery, I don't think I'm going either. So I'll put in for a panel just for the hell of it, and hopefully Zoe will have her own adult money and she can make a decision. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't. I think I already priced out the airfare and time, and I don't think Tokyo is going to work for us.
Yeah, yeah. It's far. Japan sounds rad though.
It's like
But
25. I think when we sat there the last day of London and priced it all out, and it
mm-hmm.
was 25 to 29 hours just in airport and flight one way
Yeah.
where we live. And then the cheapest airfare I could find, I just guesstimated the time of year, but the cheapest airfare was like $2,000 a person.
Mm.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And if we go to Tokyo, Missy's going to want to go to Tokyo.
Mm-hmm.
London, she regrets not going to London, but um, my
Yeah.
only gripe with London, they wouldn't let you have extra people in the room.
Hmm.
I was like, what? Because I got there with a room that I booked or prepaid, and they're like, you have 4 people, and they're like, no, you have 2. I was like, what do you mean? They're like, nope, you can only have 2 people in the room.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to get another room. Luckily, they had an extra room.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't. It's traveling is always rough, but yeah, that seems like super far. But man, that would be cool.
When in 2027, it'll have to be somewhere either Orlando or California for the 50th.
Yeah. Oh yeah, we'll see. Yeah, that would be it. If it comes back here, that'd be great for me.
Yeah.
Those ones end up being super convenient.
Yeah.
And,
well,
always,
and
yeah.
Any one of those is fine with me because Zoe will be living out there by then. So I'm going to have to figure out some cheap way to get to California quite regularly. So, because I don't know how you survived 3 years because I barely survived a semester, so.
Yeah. Podcasting. That's about it. That's the only time I see my kid. Well, I don't even see her. We just hear.
Yeah.
But, school and everything. She's always so busy. So yeah,
but they both, like, Lizzy's almost out and Zoe's out. So
yeah.
We did our jobs.
Yep. Now she's going to be getting her job and stuff. She's got her plan. He's got her plans. So hopefully, if all that stuff kind of goes through,
now
she's pretty set.
She going to be on your coast?
Yeah, she's coming. She's going to be living like not close, but she's going to be, like 30 minutes away.
Yeah, I think her and Zoe were floating the idea of living together, but I don't know whatever came of that.
Right. Well, we'll see. I mean, who knows? Now that they're both. Like California's expensive. You might need a roommate.
Well, that's what I keep telling Zoe.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about it. I mean, I live 15 miles from where I grew up.
Right,
so
right.
I'm the worst person to give advice on moving away.
Mm-hmm.
But all her friends went to Koreatown, which I don't. But I said, she said, but the rent's cheap. I said, yeah, but how much does it cost you to park your car?
Yeah.
Like if you have to double your rent because you're parking a car, you might want to look.
Yeah. Those are things you all need to know in advance.
Yeah, I know at least that much.
Yeah.
Though she blew her car up the other week, so
That sounds bad.
She had to get another bug.
Mm-hmm. I was gonna say that's a very Star Tours way to put it.
Yeah, no, it's her water pump went, and if you know anything about those old cars, the Volkswagen, there's 98 bugs. The water pump is in the middle of the motor around the timing gear, and I can do lots of stuff, but I was like, I'm not putting a timing gear in a 20-year-old car.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, I mean, thanks to you guys and thanks to even our Star Wars stories, Zoe's made tons of contacts that will help her in the future. I was hoping Lizzy was going to cook on the Star Cruiser, but it hit a space iceberg.
Yeah, we're all sad about that.
Well, no, your review is. I wish everyone that went on, all those free people that went, would have really thought about how they reviewed it, because your review was like an honest review from the average person. Like not like there's people that were going all the time. I'm like, I don't know where you work, but please hire me.
Yeah.
But
there's it's weird. There's like an entire. I ended up looking it up because like when the news hit, I was legitimately crestfallen, sir.
Yeah.
I was very sad, and I was like, this is, and and people are, the internet is the internet, So everybody out there is like clowning, like, "Oh, I told, of course this doesn't work," and I'm like, none. Everybody who's saying that, none of y'all were there.
Right,
Like,
right.
you know what I mean? Like, I get it. It's pricey, and I get that not everybody gets to go. I wish there was a way. Like, I don't see why they couldn't have. I don't know how it works. I don't know. I'm not a business person. You don't see me holding a briefcase anytime ever. Um, but it was an experience that cannot be described. I don't know how to,
Well,
like,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah,
Your review made me start thinking of how to save for it.
yeah, but it's like everybody who was like, well, this is dumb and like this is too expensive. Like none of those people went.
Right.
Like maybe you know what? Guarantee you can find a handful of people maybe that went and that were like, I will never go again. This was bad, and I wouldn't spend that much money. But like everybody that I talked to, that I heard, that I went, that I've seen, even reviews from people that were actually there, everybody describes it as an amazing experience.
Yep.
And like you said, there are people that go multiple times.
Right.
Uh, and I went looking for that because I listened to a podcast called Thank the Maker,
Yeah.
and they had a podcast like when it broke down, they had their people on, and there were people that like sort of really into it that would go multiple times, and
Yeah.
they were talking about all this stuff, how they like, I think one of the people was one of the bookers or something like that, and they
Yeah.
planned like a whole cruise that was all like people that were into it, like on a May 4th cruise.
Yeah.
So like that cruise was like like these things that I'm like, wow, I thought mine was good, but like that sounds like even awesomer than mine. And like the people, they knew the songs, they knew the like, like all of the things, the experiences that you get to have when you're there. It is like a very crazy thing. And then yeah, I always we wanted to go back, and I wanted to like dive deeper into things that I missed out, I
Yeah.
feel,
Yeah.
because it's almost like I kind of described it as a video game, like a
Yeah.
real life video game. You go, you make choices, and you like follow the story to its end.
Well, and that's what I have a one of the MasterCards with Disney. So
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I'll just pay this bill with, like to jack up my dollars to
Hmm.
go,
Hmm.
and I was very sad. I'm hoping because Sollenfeld is one of the ones that's always there.
Okay.
He's the head of the 501st right now, but he's one of those guys that went like monthly, and he just had such a good time. And then with, like I said,
Hmm.
with your review,
Hmm.
I felt really bad that I was going to miss out on that. And what
Yeah.
made me feel even worse was the that it just seemed like it was so abrupt. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
again, I'm
It,
like
it
you in a sense. I don't
yeah.
I don't understand any of that business. I can
I
pay my
don't.
bills.
Yeah, but there's like a weird business sense about it that I don't like
Yeah,
because I feel like Lucas and Disney are both people that took risks and are
yeah,
willing to
yeah,
put stuff out there. And I feel like this whole experiment or whatever it was is one of those things
yeah.
that went big and really like in both of the ways that both of those creators I think would have gone for it. And I think whatever reason they decided, oh, like where it's not doing this or it's not doing that or it's not hitting a certain number or whatever, because as soon as they announce it's closing, you probably can't get a room now because
Oh
now it's
yeah,
all booked
no,
up.
no,
People
yeah,
wanted to go,
yeah,
but there's an urgency, there's a price barrier. Like there are reasons why people didn't get to go. I get it,
right,
but also like the way that they're just shelving it I think it really like kind of goes against what both of those the risks and
yes,
the imagination that both of those creators I think would have fostered
right.
and found a way to make it work. Whereas like the business people maybe running it now don't really think that way.
Yeah, it's just a number on a spreadsheet,
Yeah, and that sucks
and
for
it's
us and the people who work there.
yeah, and well, Disney's different. In the East Coast, we have like I've only gone twice, so when I say always stay, I mean
Hmm. Hmm.
the two times I went. Um, we stay at a place called Caribbean Beach. And when you stay there, it feels like you're in the Caribbean. So I'm hoping what they do is take out of this and you stay at like Hotel Tatooine.
Right, right.
Because it has a whole grounds. Like when we stayed there, it looks like a Caribbean resort. Like there's cannons and
Hmm.
all, and so I'm hoping that maybe they take at least that part so I can go stay in Tatooine land or something, you know.
Right, right.
But yeah, I was hoping Lizzie would be chefing there.
Yeah, so was she, man. She's pretty crestfallen too.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I just I find it really sad because I think there were I think the vision of what it was worked.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think like them not finding a way to like it is that weird like Disney magic.
Yep.
It is one of those things like that you I don't know how to replicate that, or I don't know why they would give up on something like that. That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I still think, and maybe because I teach, I still think there's stuff affected by all those closings and COVID and
Right.
all that.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we, for us, like the average person, we've kind of got through most of it. But I
Hmm.
think companies are just starting. Some of those companies, like I don't think
Right.
they
Right.
have to be a little more patient, you know.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
But it is what it is. I mean, they'll. I'm sure they'll fix something, and it'll be almost as good. I just need to get on that. I need to get on that invite list of something. I get. I got. That's my only. So to go back to the girls' podcast for all the years, like they started out pretty good. Like they had Vanessa Marshall on. I was looking at the list of all the people they've had
All the
good
guests.
a good amount of guests on.
Hmm.
Um, but Zoe's been trying to get some of the authors. That's what I've been trying.
Mm.
I've been bugging them, but I've been using all my emails I have. So I just got a couple new ones from someone else. They're like, try this. And then we met, the Star Wars book that just came out. I think it's like 100 Things.
Kristen Baver's
Yeah,
book, right?
Kristen. So we were at in London, and we
Hmm.
Matt took us back to get pictures behind the stage. There was like a star screen or whatever,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
had this hat on, Millersville. Well, she went to Kutztown, which is one of our rival, and that's what caught her eye, and so I
Hmm.
got to talking to her, and then I said, hey, me being the ultimate, like always plugging for the kids,
Hmm.
I was like, hey, would you like to do the show? And she gave me an email, so I've been trying to get her to do that. Because I even have a podcast, and the first episode I told John and Ken, I said I will always get guests and plug for my kids before us. Like I told him, because when we were at London, I think I was irritating John, but I was like, "Here's my daughter's card. Here's my daughter's card," and he's like, "You're wearing one of our shirts." I was like, "I don't care." I said, "I told you I'd always plug the
Hmm. Hmm.
kids first." So, but
Yeah. Yeah. That's they've had a lot of fun, and they've had a lot of like we've even us just on the like on our side, just going to a lot of these events. We've been to, over here, we get to go to some of these like Lucasfilm screenings of Rebels and
yeah,
Resistance and whatever. Like they've gotten to meet a lot of these people. Like Kristen Baver has been part of the StarWars.com team for a long time.
yeah.
And then she started like hosting some of these the little Q&As at the end of a screening. And then she started doing like This Week in Star Wars, and now she's writing books. So it's like really cool to see the people that are into it sort of branch out and do all these things that they
Oh
want.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you
Well,
know.
and Zoe got a taste of that when she was in California, because the Mando Mercs
Hmm.
over there were so nice to her,
Hmm.
you know, and they got her into like the Rogue One
The
premiere,
Andor.
or Andor.
Hmm.
Also, when she left for California, I said, "Do you need your armor?" She's like, "No, I'm just going to be concentrating on school."
Yeah, yeah.
A week later, she's like, "Can you mail me my armor?"
I was talking to Lizzy about that too. I was like, you haven't even touched your armor, man. Like you don't even like. She's like, no, I do every now and then. I like think, and I'm like, man, I haven't dressed up in a while or whatever. You
Well,
know.
we could get her in events down here. She's not far from us.
Hmm. Well, she doesn't even have her stuff. It's kind of like the same thing. She's like, oh, because all her stuff is here.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, the worst was Zoe, because I didn't think she wanted to be embarrassed in front of her California Merc friends. She was like, "There's not enough leg flares on her leg flares
Hmm.
armor," so I had to make her new leg flares without being able to measure. She's like, "I
Right.
need this
Right.
many," and I'm like, "All right." And I had to match the leather, and the leather I made from a fake Target leather purse.
Okay.
It was on clearance, and I bought it and I cut it all apart.
Yeah. Cut it
So
up.
I had to go around the Goodwill for like 5 days, all the good, and I
Hmm.
found two of them, the exact same
Nice.
purse. And I was like, "What we
Yeah.
don't do for our kids?"
That was our move back. Well, if I don't know about for you, it was like that. For me, it was the whole family. So I'd be hitting up Goodwills all over the place, and I'd be like, hey, here's like an orange jumpsuit. Maybe I can make a little 8-year-old Ezra out of this. Okay,
Yeah,
here's a yellow. Like like I was looking for all of these things because I would need a set of boots for a kid that could look brown or black or
yeah.
whatever. You know. Um,
Well,
'Cause that
Zoe
was
was picky.
yeah.
Like when we did Sabine,
Mhm.
she wanted the wedge heel.
Right,
She
right.
didn't want regular heels. Like it had to be
Yeah.
wedge. And
Yeah, Sabine had an exact we bought 4 or 5 pairs of these one particular shoes
yeah,
because first when we had like something and then we switched it over when Liz found the shoe that she liked
yeah,
and then it was really comfortable so she bought another pair and then she bought like 2 more pairs once Lizzie started wearing Sabine.
yeah,
So then she had like 3 pairs of those shoes sitting around, and one of them was like painted up for season 1, one of them was season 2, one of them was in holding, and one of them was like she would wear to work because they were just regular black boots, you know.
yeah. Because I
Uh,
got mine at Ross. I was in Ross one day, and I
yeah,
sent Zoe a picture. I was like, "Is this the right boot?" And they were like
yeah.
$22. So I
There was a
bought one
yeah,
pair to see if they fit, and but when I went back, they were gone.
mm. Yeah. There was a certain she ordered him. I can't remember who she would order him
Yeah.
from, but she found one, and then it worked really well, and she ended up buying like 3 or 4 pairs that lasted her for quite a while. You know, all the way into when Lizzie was wearing it, and I think
Nice.
those are still the ones that Lizzie has.
Well, and then Safi, I think Safi and Axel. I don't know if it's a second kid thing or they fall under the because Safi kind of walks to her own
Hmm.
beat most of the time. You know,
Hmm.
I think that's why she likes 000 so much
Yeah.
because like you can't part unless someone has a BT unit. No one can partner up with 000. You know,
Right.
and and Safi's she helped me when I made Zoe's um Ahsoka. Safi's good with foam.
Hmm.
I've never tried foam as much. I just like the resin and all that stuff. But I wanted to make the Ahsoka be able to pack into suitcases because we were going to London. So we packed Sabine in one suitcase and we packed Ahsoka in another suitcase. And certain pieces of armor I made out of the foam,
Hmm.
like the hip armor, because that hip armor is if you
Yeah.
3D print it, you can't do anything with it.
Hmm.
And her Ahsoka came out pretty decent too.
That's
I
good.
priced
Yeah.
I spent way too much money on it because that headpiece was like when I got the price of the headpiece, I was like, oh, I
Hmm.
can buy
Yeah.
like TK armor for that.
Yeah. Leku are not cheap.
Yeah, but they're also that's like the signature piece.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, yeah. Yeah. We would always find. I got like a lot more, especially once I started working at the shops and working
Mhm.
with like more armor pieces and getting more specifics about painting and stuff like that. Um, the blasters and the things and whatever else it was. Like Axel has a season 3 style Ezra, season 3, 4 lightsaber now.
Oh, nice.
So like we finally found like a good one. It's like pretty. It's not like 100%,
Right,
but it's like really really good.
right.
It looks great. It's functional. He can use it. Um,
Is
so
it
like whenever.
is this Dante Major Sabers?
No, it's an old saber forge.
Oh
I
no, but
forgot
I'm
what it's
saying
called.
who because I met him in London too. Whoever did some of your saber work,
Sebastian
Sebastian. That's who it was. Sebastian.
Starlight Sabers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess he's working for the guy Lucasfilm now. In some well whatever.
I think they all know each other or whatever. Yeah.
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 No, because I think I'm gonna send him the Ahsoka. Um, I have the Ahsoka hilts and some of the electronics. I just
Hmm.
my soldering skills are way better in my mind than they
Mm.
are in real
No,
life.
he's my lightsaber guy. That's who
Yeah,
does all the programming on our stuff. He did my Kanan blaster,
yeah.
my Kanan saber that has blaster sounds. He did me Voss fonts, and I want to send him back. I might do a little bit of upgrades, but I want to hit him up for. I want that Ronin font.
Oh, okay.
The sound of that Ronin blade when he busts out that blade in
Yeah.
Star Wars Visions, dude.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
I love that font. So
yeah.
he's yeah.
What's the saber company called?
Starlight Sabers.
Okay, I have it written down on. I have a
Hmm.
whole pile of paper from London, and I have like 3 lightsaber plays. I was like, I can't remember who was because
Yeah,
me and
yeah.
Zoe run on like 22 hours of no sleep every day at
Hmm.
celebrations. We were
Hmm.
like zombies when people were having us write stuff down. Um,
Got to put the pieces together later. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. He's Starlight Sabers, and I've been working with him for a while. He did the powder coating on my Kanan
nice.
because I would like hand paint it with spray paint, and it would be
Yeah,
fine, but eventually it would come off. I would clear coat it. I would polish it. Didn't matter. but he powder coated it. It's been fine. I've been using it for like 2 years now. The color is consistent. It matches my armor and everything. He did a really good
I have
job.
the nice thing about the Ahsoka blades. They're just those, the 2 round ones, like the from was that season 6?
From Clone Wars, right?
Clone Wars, yeah, yeah.
Clone Wars style.
And I
Okay.
got them from Solo's Hold. They're nice.
Mm-hmm.
Like anything I do to them is just going to make them worse. So
So, are you making them blue, or are you going to keep them green?
well, that's
Or
what I was
what are
talking
they?
to him about NeoPixels.
Okay, so you can make them change.
Yeah, because I have the setup for the NeoPixel. Because I went on. Actually, this is our podcasting circle. Eric Struthers sent me to the place where he gets all his stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and so I bought all this stuff, and then I'm looking at it. And I tried some soldering. When I built my Dejeric table, I realized my soldering skills are not what I thought they were. So
You're like, you need those surgeon hands.
yeah, and I just need patience.
Yeah.
Like it's. So that's I'm excited though to get that done, but because she's
Mm-hmm.
going to want to when she goes out west, she's probably going to want to take some of that stuff with her.
Mm-hmm.
So again, that's why I hope she gets a nice place. But I'm going to tell her just go out with some clothes first and see where you live. You don't want to have all your costumes in a room that someone can just walk into when you're not there.
Fair.
I mean, I don't know what her rent budget will be.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's lightsaber upgrades and stuff like that is kind of what we're looking at. Yeah, he's got that Ezra now, so he hasn't really used, like, we've been to Saber Guild practice a couple of times, and that's about it with them, and it's fun. He really gets into it because he really wants to learn how to like do cool things. He just played Jedi Survivor, so now he feels,
now he's ready.
So now he's like, I'm like, dude, we could learn those things. Like, I can teach you how to rock that. Like, because I'm like, look at those. Like, he's got a saber and a blaster. Like, you could bust those moves with Ezra.
Yeah.
Like, you could do that. You could incorporate that into, I could do that with Kanan.
Yeah.
Like, certain of those little combos. We can teach these things. We can learn these things.
Zoe has the pistol lightsaber. Ezra's pistol lightsaber.
Mm-hmm. The staple gun.
It looks like well, she got it as a graduation gift. One of our friends knows a prop master in England.
Oh wow!
And made it. He said the name, and I should have. It was one of those English prop that I hear in the TK business, but I was like, I didn't really know. So I was like, oh well, it's really nice. I mean,
back in the day, there were a few makers, but they were all so expensive. So the in empty would be like 700 or something like that. And I would be like,
this was our friend that owned a railroad, so I don't think.
Yeah.
I think his version of expensive and our version of expensive was different.
So I had never pulled the trigger on it, but like now Axel has had his eye out because he really likes that one too.
Yeah.
And now that not that I have Sebastian, but like Sebastian can do, like, because I would be like, hey, can you program this to, like, there's like a little switch and a button and a trigger. I'm like, can you make the button do the lightsaber and the trigger turn the lightsaber off and do the blaster? And he's like, yeah, we could do that. Like, so like having him able to like make, because now we could do it right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so would that be cool? Because I've had my sabers for a while, and I've had Sebastian do all the upgrades on it, and it's been like great.
Well, and you're in the same boat with me in the sense that we started doing all this before 3D printing was available.
Mm-hmm.
Like 3D printing has changed.
Yeah. Like armor wise, not necessarily saber wise. Like,
no, not saber wise, but
yeah.
It at least gives you, like, when I'm going to make a Ezra saber, whatever the one Sabine carries. I'm just going to make one of those just for her 3D to carry on her belt. Yeah. And then I've been watching people cold cast in aluminum, so I was like, I can just 3D print it, mold it, and make an aluminum one.
Yeah, that's not that crazy. The enemy would do the cold cast stuff too for a while.
Yeah. Well, so we can end our Father's Day show with what do you think? What do you think? Like, I do wonder where the kids are the kids always going to come back to me to do their costuming or costume with me, or are they going to venture on their, like, I'm curious what their first costume will be that I have no involvement.
I see, that's a you question, because I think like right now, I
Yeah,
think Axel is going to get closer to that before Lizzie. Like I think Lizzie will always come to me to
yeah,
work on whatever we're doing together. But I think Axel's kind of on the road to learning with this. Now that he's all excited and getting these new skills, he's going to start bringing me stuff and being like, "Oh no, I got this." Like,
nice.
like he's basically doing his Boba armor. It's Cobb Vanth, but
Yeah,
his Boba armor on his own this time. So
nice.
we'll see how that goes. Like if he takes it all the way, you know,
Well,
basically I'm gonna be like, hey, I can get you, I can help you with the shirt,
yeah,
But we'll see how far he goes, and like depending on what he wants, he's wanted to do a custom. He wants to do axe woves. He wants to do a custom Mando, but he really likes axe woves.
yeah,
So the end of season 3 of Mando was touch and go for us for a minute.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because we
Oh
were like,
yeah,
wait, is he gonna be okay? Wait, is he a traitor? Wait, is everything cool? But he just like he was really digging axe woves. So, but like the
and
look and
Axe
everything, it's
Wolves
cool.
looks good with a group of Mandos.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's, I
And
think
yeah,
that's the appeal to Mandos in general. Like I like
mhm.
Sabine because Sabine stands out in a group of
Yeah,
Mandos,
yeah.
and I think Sabine pisses off the Mando mercs because they had to make a whole CRL that didn't wear all the armor.
I mean, like that's just a costume club thing in general. I
Oh
think Star Wars growing
yeah, yeah, yeah,
is people who find themselves in one particular rut get
yeah,
very irritated when things expand outside with their narrow vision. It's like what does he say? You must embrace a larger view of the Force,
yeah.
not just the dogmatic view of the costume clubs of the
Right.
CRLs. Um, so anytime something new comes out, whatever the costume is, you got whatever costume clubs are affiliated with that costume arguing over what makes it okay or not okay or
Right.
new or updated or whatever. And I'm like, dude, like, grow. We're supposed to represent Star Wars. Star Wars said it's okay. It's on the screen.
Yep.
Like so we should be adapting, not limiting ourselves.
Right. Well, and we all look better with more variety.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you
And,
have
and not only that, like people are excited, like taking ourselves out of the equation. Yes, I'm sure you all love to be in the stormtrooper costume that you've loved since you were 4 years old or whatever. But kids these days are excited to see the Mandalorian that they just saw with the baby Grogu or whatever next year they'll be excited to see Ahsoka's with whatever,
yep.
or the Bad Batch or whatever kids. Maybe your kids like Young Jedi Adventures. Maybe we'll see some Nubs costumers out there. Where are my Nubs at?
Yeah. Yeah, I think my girls will probably always Safi will probably venture out on her own, other than the droids, just because
What else does she like? Because she has 000 and she has Ketsu. Is
she has
she
Triple
interested?
Zero,
Does she have her eye on anything?
she has Ketsu. She wants C3PO. That's her eyes on C3PO.
Oh, okay. So
So,
she's sticking with protocol.
yeah, she likes
Yeah,
protocol
I
droids.
I know her and like like she don't I thought she might be like I'm into hardcore droids only. Forlom.
Well, we have a four alarm. We have a four alarm file to print
Mm-hmm,
one,
mm-hmm.
and she liked the droid from Mandalorian Zero.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah.
Problem with Zero is you can't really make an accurate one because the legs are all green screen. Like
Mm.
he doesn't wear
Yeah,
full
yeah,
weight,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know. But I think she likes the protocol droids because she has the movements and the mannerisms down. Like I
Yeah.
think that's what Chris Bartlett, like, because he found us, like we were just
Mm-hmm.
walking, and
Mm-hmm.
and then he came and like it was the best con because they didn't advertise it well, so there was no one there. So we hung out with him forever, and then
Yeah.
he was and he took he signed the inside of her faceplate,
Mm-hmm.
and she was wearing it, so he was sweating, and he was like wipes it with his shirt, so
He's like, I get no, he gets it. He's done
yeah,
it.
so her inside of her face is signed by Matt Martin and Chris Bartlett.
Mm-hmm.
So
Nice.
that was
Yeah.
and
Like
and
I'm
he didn't charge us. There was a line waiting to pay for his signature, and he was. So I was like,
Yeah, I always like because like that tells me like what they're like a little bit,
yeah,
because like Lizzie doesn't really have any like I think she wants to do the epilogue Sabine, but I don't know if she's into Ahsoka Sabine yet, even though it's
oh,
the
okay,
same thing, but it's different. She likes the epilogue version
yeah,
better than the live action version so far.
yeah,
You know what I mean? But I like so like other than that, she doesn't sound like she has anything on her plate really.
Yeah.
I don't think, I've got my Vosses and I got my Kanan. I kind of want to do like my little. I've been looking a lot at like the little. I don't know, not quite like Disney bounding, but like a lot of the denizen kind of stuff that you see.
Yeah.
That like I just like the look of and can like make something out of it. And in fact, I kind of go back to my Art of Rebels book
Right.
and the episode. I think it's called The Occupation of season 4 of Rebels, and it's the episode where they go back to Lothal and they're kind of in disguise.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
Kanan has this like super sexy looking white flight cap and sunglasses
yeah. Yeah.
that Liz hates and thinks look ridiculous. And she's like, "You're not wearing that." And I'm like, "Babe, I want to do this costume."
Well, you know
But
the helmet. You know the helmet that Ezra wore.
which one? Oh,
For
the one that's like the governor style hat.
We started sculpting that.
Let me know how far you get, because I've
No,
been.
I
Will it work?
well, no. What I did was I took they had a picture of it somewhere. I took a photo, blew it up, and made a printout. And I made a cardboard, like a cardboard frame and foam, cut it with foam, and I had it all ready to go. And it's sitting somewhere, and it's probably packed in a box because, Zoe would get on these kicks. Hey, could you just make this helmet for me? I'm like, okay, let's see what I can do, and it was beyond my. At the time, I could probably do it a little better now, but at the time, it was beyond my skills because it just started looking worse and worse. It started looking like a big dinner plate.
Yeah, there's like that one, and that's the one that Ezra wears.
Yeah,
When that episode came out of all the costumes, I thought Hera and Sabine's looked the best.
yeah,
So I was like, "Do you?" And Hera's like, "No, not even." She's like, "That's way too much body paint," because hers is like a tank top almost. And then
yeah.
Lizzy didn't like the Sabine little vest or whatever that she had, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah,
okay,
Zoe made one. I think Zoe started a rough one of those too.
yeah."
Because I think it's actually on one of my mannequins under.
Um,
It's under the flight suit because I got
nice.
her.
Okay.
I got her an animated pilot,
Okay. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then I want to do Ajax Citizen.
Perfect.
I don't know if you're in the Ajax Citizen group on Facebook.
I might be.
But the
I'm
one
not
guy
sure.
one guy I know, he's an archivist. He went to like college being an archivist. I put that Ajax Citizen up. He located most of the parts for that costume within like hours. He's like, it's this goggles
Mm-hmm.
and it's this shirt and it looks like this is what they have wrapped around his head.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like, oh, that's cool.
Give this man a raise. The So what I was saying is like in that art of book, there's like alternative disguises. So there's like there's one where like Kanan has this cool blue jacket with a hoodie,
Yeah.
and it just looks cool. And I'm like, I should figure out how to make that. And there's one where Ezra has like a red shirt, or like it's all the like same stuff, but it's like a little bit different. So there's like cool designs in there that I want to pull from, and just have as random pieces when I go to
That'd be a good
Batu or when I do whatever. Like
Yeah, that'd be a
it's
good
fun.
walk in the Batu.
Yeah. And I could still have my lightsaber with it, or like a little like from Jedi Survivor. All the outfits are so customizable. I'm like, oh, that jacket looks rad. Let me just make that jacket. Let me just make those gloves or whatever.
Yeah.
I actually I needed some gloves for work. I bought the Cobb Vanth ones.
There's.
Hi. I just got home from work.
She just got home from
Hey.
Amish Disney.
Look at you, working person.
He said hello, working person. When you come, if you have, I know when you come for Lizzie's graduation, you can always come to Amish Disney.
Or come to Philly and run up the Rocky Steps.
I don't know how far we're gonna make it out of wherever we are, which I think we're still like an hour and a half out of. We're like trying to plan because we only have like 1 or 2 days.
Ah, yeah.
And we're like, okay, we're gonna have the grandmas. We're gonna have like Axel might like have fun in New York, but like, will the grandmas want to walk around? I don't know. Should we just do like a little tours? But like, we're still trying to figure out what we're gonna do with our 1 or 2 days. I only care about the food. But like I said, Lizzie, I don't think has much. Like at least she hasn't expressed interest in anything costume wise.
Yeah, Zoe has a full list.
Yeah.
And I just have to tell her, look, I'm working on Sabine right now.
But Axel's like Cobb Vanth, Axe Woves, Ezra, updating Ezra, like getting approved in an Ezra. Because he's like, okay, I can do Saber Guild. Boom, there's my Ezra. Okay, I can join the Mando Mercs, like with my Axe or with my Cobb Vanth or whatever. Technically, he could join Rebel Legion with Cobb Vanth.
Yeah.
But I'm like, those are three that he's like not only expressed interest, but like really been like, no, we should do this. So
Well,
like
him and
that,
Zoe, him
yeah.
and like, because I'd like to get Zoe's sabers done before she goes out to California, so she can get in the Saber Guild with Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
That's the plan.
Yeah. So I mean, we'll see how he goes. But like, what does Liz have on? I mean, Liz still has a Night Owl on her list that she's going to turn into Ursa Wren, I think.
Oh,
And
nice.
then,
Oh, that's nice.
And then, like we have the most unfinished costumes for Liz, but they're always like the most difficult.
Yeah.
And then she also has a, what does she have? Oh, we have like an almost done, like we just need to do the soft parts, an Imperial Knight from the Legacy comics.
Oh, nice.
Because Liz wanted to do the Marasiah Fell, the
Yeah.
Empress or whatever, you know.
Yeah, I just printed a Ursa Wren helmet for somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But she wants to do the Night Owl version from Siege of Mandalore. Do you remember the version? Because
Okay.
like she comes out with Bo-Katan.
Yeah,
she
yeah.
has like it's like she has the Ursa Wren paint, the yellow with the Night Owl. It's kind of rad. But also this is before people were 3D printing smaller jetpacks on Mando females. So I have this giant jetpack.
Well, if you guys need something printed, I mean, like especially Axel wants something printed, just tell him to send me a message.
I need him to work stuff out for you or with you or however, because you know he's working now, kind of.
I know, but
don't give him an easy way. Like let him work for it.
But for me, a lot of the times when I print stuff for friends, it's me learning how to print something.
Mm-hmm.
You know, learning how to.
You know what else I have him working on?
What?
He's working on the jaws for the cadet helmets.
Oh, nice.
We never finished those. So I'm like, hey, get those all ready to paint, and then we can paint them up, and you can have one for your cadet. You can do open face Ezra, and one for open face, because I can paint one up.
Yeah.
The rig all white, and then I can paint one that has the custom.
Did I send you the open face one?
Yeah, you sent me one. I'm pretty sure I have one or two. I have enough, I think.
Because so I cleaned part of my garage out. I have another cadet helmet that I found because it has a crack in it, not the helmet part, but the face part. Because I might do one of those up too.
Yeah.
I just gotta get back into it.
Yeah, he liked those ones. We did a good job with those. Like the paint was kind of nice, you know. But we'll see.
That's cool. Yeah, that's. I mean, it's nice to see that they. I hope they keep doing it. I mean, I still only have one approved costume, and I've been in since 07. I still have my FXDK.
I mean, I have my. I only have two costumes. Well, I guess I have more because like they have a little variations. I got like season 2 and 3 Kanan, season, Voss from the comics, Voss from Clone Wars. That's my last one that I got approved. My Clone Wars Voss.
Yeah, I have a Sand Trooper that I could probably submit. I've just been lazy. And I have a Vader started, but I have to get the Vader's. Literally, my Vader is I have to do the belt and make sure the lifts are comfortable. Because I don't want to be a short Vader. Not knocking any short Vaders out there, but I'm 5'10".
Right.
You
got to represent.
Huh?
You got to represent.
Yeah. So I want to. I don't want to be because I'm a short. Everyone always calls me a short stormtrooper because we have like 6'3". Like I don't know why anyone that's 6'3".
Yeah, you need to be like y'all need Death Trooper costumes.
Yeah. Like come on, man. Like nature give you the Yeah. But
get out of here, Death Troopers. You ain't fooling nobody.
I wore another guy's Vader costume it was some family wanted a Vader. It was not like official, whatever. But he had 5-inch lifts and it was fine. Except his lips, his shoes were a little big for me. So it didn't fit me right, but I was fine. Well, I walked around in a house with stairs for like 3 hours and was fine. So, I just got to get. It's just one of those things. I made a bench now in my garage where I can't do anything other than what's on the bench. So, but I'm happy. I'm happy that our kids' paths made our paths cross. So you and I don't get to talk as much as
I'm glad their paths cross. You know what I mean? I'm glad they're still there for each other whenever for whatever. I hope they continue. We'll see how it goes, but I'm glad that they're both doing their things,
Well, there's a deeper friendship there. I think that I think people that don't understand Star Wars, and don't let themselves just be a kid for long. And I think our girls have become good friends that will. I hope their podcast sticks around. Like especially with Anchor and all. It's not an Anchor commercial, but it's so much easier to do it with Anchor now. Compared to the old days of having to run it through Audacity and then run it through GarageBand and then hook everything up. I was like, oh, so. And your podcast,
the Rogue Rebels podcast. I think we're on 265.
Yeah, so you've caught up to the girls. I think
almost. Have we? The girls don't number anymore, do they?
No, I see. I took the numbers off and I put them in the Anchor thing, mainly because I was trying to get their numbers back up. And the one thing they were saying was take out your episode numbers because it messes with some of the algorithms. So I was like, okay, I'll try. I'll try anything, But I think they're at 2. They're between that, like 2 something 270 or something like that. I don't know. I don't really keep track as much. I mainly just go by the years. But yeah, your podcast, and then my podcast is not really a podcast. We just ramble on.
I feel like that's any podcast.
That's true.
We're doing it right now.
Well, what we do now, because our podcast, we're on episode 60 or something like that, and we've been doing it over a year, and we missed 2 weeks. And that's it. We did it every week, every Wednesday night. Some of those shows were 4.5 hours long. Like I was going into work Thursday like dragging because we would just get sidetracked. So now I bought these books. You ever see? They're on like they're I don't know. It's like those old encyclopedias. They're not the best information. I mean, but they're pretty cool. But so to now, like you were saying, evergreen. Like 3 or 4 weeks ago, we decided, look, our shows are only going to be an hour, no matter what And now I have those guys randomly pick a number and a page, and that's our topic. Because we were just rambling on. Because John's from Ohio and Ken's from New Jersey, so the only time we really see each other. Again, I'll send you a link every once in a while, but now if you do ever jump on, it's only an hour.
If I ever get off work, I'll hit you up.
You're on California time, so
yeah, I'm always in the future, and by the time I get there, you guys are passed out.
Yeah,
in theory.
Well, I have 2 more days of students and 3 more days of work.
Okay.
I'm done.
Yeah, Axel's already on vacation.
Yeah.
So that's why I said I told you he's been starting on his stuff.
Yeah.
He was even sanding and painting out there today.
Yeah, man, I can't wait to see his stuff. I mean,
yeah. I'm gonna have him take more. I'm gonna be like, dude, take some progress pictures. Take some
Yeah.
Because I think he's just excited to be doing stuff.
If he's free on a Wednesday, he can come and talk when we do.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I'll let him know.
We're like, if you listen to the Dad Batch, we're like the trailer park version of the Dad Batch. They're talking
I don't know what to do with that.
Huh?
I don't know what to do with that.
Well, no, but I mean, they're like talking about all this cool stuff, and we're like, well, I cut this with a Dremel, and it still seems to work. You know what I mean? Like, But John is a guy we met. He actually found love in one of the long lines in Celebration London. He met up with a girl from Hawaii, and now he's building her a Bo-Katan. So I don't know how that works.
All right.
But yeah, happy Father's Day, and thanks for thanks from becoming from just me searching for pictures to build Sabine to where we are today.
Yeah. I'm always glad and open to help, which is, I mean, I feel like it's a little more common nowadays, but back when we started this costume thing, it was a little, I don't know, it could feel gatekeepy at sometimes. So I always tried to be like, hey, you had questions about Sabine, and I was like, hey, man, here's what I did. Here's what I used. This is the helmet that I got. This is what I did. These are the colors.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Colors.
Here's a reference album that I have on 1,000 pictures on Flickr.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So But yeah, I'll post this up. Let me stop the recording. But thank you, Sal. And I'll stop. Let me see if I can